The night was eerily quiet, the kind of silence that presses heavily against the soul. 8-year-old Tommy sat curled up on the living room floor, his eyes red from crying. Beside him lay Max, his beloved golden retriever, who had been his companion since he was a toddler. Max's shallow breaths were the only sound breaking the stillness, each one a painful reminder of the vet's grim prognosis earlier that day. "There's nothing more we can do," the vet had said gently, her eyes filled with sympathy. "Make him comfortable and cherish the time you have left." Tommy couldn't accept it. Max wasn't just a dog, he was family. He was the one who had licked away tears when Tommy scraped his knee, the one who waited at the bus stop every afternoon. And now Max was slipping away with trembling hands. Tommy placed a small blanket over Max and whispered, "You'll get better, Max, I promise." Then he clasped his hands together tightly, shut his eyes, and prayed. "Please, God," he murmured through tears, "please don't take Max away from me. I'll do anything. Just don't let him go." Tommy lived with his mother, Sarah, in a small but cozy house on the outskirts of town. Life had never been easy for them. Sarah worked long hours at a diner to make ends meet, often coming home late with tired eyes and a weary smile. Despite the challenges, their little family had always found joy in the simple things: evening walks, homemade pancakes, and the unconditional love of their golden retriever. Max had come into their lives 5 years ago, a tiny ball of fur with a wagging tail that never seemed to stop. He had been a gift from Tommy's late father, who had passed away in a car accident shortly after. For Tommy, Max was more than a pet. He was a link to his father's memory, a source of comfort and happiness during the hardest times. But over the past week, Max had stopped eating and playing. He grew lethargic, his once bright eyes clouded with pain. Concerned, Sarah had taken him to the vet, only to hear the devastating news. Max had an aggressive illness that left little hope for recovery. Tommy refused to believe it. "He'll get better, Mom," he insisted, his voice trembling. "He has to." Sarah's heart ached for her son. She wished she could shield him from the pain, but she knew the truth was unavoidable. That evening she sat by Tommy as he cried, stroking his hair and whispering words of comfort. "Sometimes we have to let go," she said softly, though the words felt like knives in her throat, but Tommy wouldn't let go. He spent every moment by Max's side, reading him stories, singing softly, and praying with all his heart. The following morning, Sarah found Tommy in the backyard, kneeling in the grass with Max beside him. Tommy's hands were clasped tightly, his eyes squeezed. Shut in fervent prayer. "God, please save Max," he whispered. "He's my best friend. If you help him get better, I'll be the best boy ever. I'll never fight with Mom. I'll even eat all my vegetables. Just please don't let him go." Sarah watched from the doorway, her heart breaking. She had always believed in the power of prayer, but this felt different. How could she explain to Tommy that sometimes prayers go unanswered? How could she prepare him for the inevitable? By the afternoon, Max's condition seemed to worsen. His breaths grew shallower, and he refused even the small bites of chicken Tommy offered him. Desperation etched itself into Tommy's face. "Mom, we have to do something," he pleaded. "Can we take him to another vet? Maybe they can fix him?" Sarah knelt down and held her son close. "Honey, we've done everything we can. Max knows how much we love him." But Tommy wasn't ready to give up. That night, as Sarah slept, he crept outside with a flashlight and his Bible, kneeling by Max's side. He flipped to a passage he had heard in Sunday school about miracles. With trembling hands, he read aloud, his voice cracking with emotion. "Please, God," he said again, tears streaming down his cheeks. "I know you can do anything. Please make Max better." As the night stretched on, Tommy's exhaustion overcame him. He fell asleep beside Max, his head resting on the dog's golden fur. The flashlight's beam dimmed, casting the pair in a soft, warm glow. Tommy woke to the sound of soft whimpers. Groggy and disoriented, he sat up and looked at Max. His heart leaped. For the first time in days, Max was wagging his tail, albeit weakly. His eyes, though still tired, held a spark of life that had been missing. Mom, come quick!" Tommy shouted, his voice filled with excitement. Sarah rushed outside, her robe trailing behind her. When she saw Max sitting up, her hand flew to her mouth in disbelief. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Max." The dog's recovery was slow but steady. Over the next few days, he began eating small portions of food and even managed to take a few steps around the backyard. The vet was equally astonished. "It's remarkable," she said during a follow-up visit. "I can't explain it, but he's defying all odds." For Tommy, there was no doubt in his mind. "It was my prayer," he told his mother confidently. "God heard me and he saved Max." Sarah wasn't sure what to believe. She had seen her fair share of heartache and disappointment, enough to make her question miracles. But as she watched her son's unwavering faith, she felt a glimmer of hope she hadn't felt in years. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Tommy sat with Max on the porch. The golden retriever's coat gleamed in the soft light, and his tail thumped gently against the wooden boards. Tommy leaned close and whispered, "Thank you for staying, Max. I knew you would." The miracle didn't stop with Max's recovery. News of his turnaround spread through their small community, inspiring others to believe in the power of hope and resilience. At church the following Sunday, the pastor shared Tommy's story during the sermon. "Sometimes faith moves mountains," he said, "and sometimes it heals the ones we love most." Tommy's classmates, who had teased him for being so attached to his dog, now looked at him with newfound admiration. "Your prayer really worked," one of them said, eyes wide with wonder. Even Sarah found herself re-examining her beliefs. Late at night, as she watched Tommy and Max sleeping soundly together, she felt a warmth in her chest that she couldn't explain. Maybe, she thought, there really are miracles. Max's recovery brought the family closer together. Tommy became more responsible, helping his mom around the house and even keeping his promise to eat all his vegetables. For Sarah, the ordeal was a reminder of the strength and innocence of a child's faith, a force powerful enough to bring light to the darkest of times. Months passed, and Max continued to thrive. He regained his energy and playful spirit, once again becoming the heart of their little family. Tommy never stopped thanking God for the miracle that had saved his best friend. The experience changed them all. Sarah began volunteering at the local animal shelter, inspired to help other families facing similar challenges. Tommy, now more confident and compassionate, often shared his story with others, spreading a message of hope and faith. "Max taught me that miracles can happen," he would say, stroking his dog's golden fur. "You just have to believe." Their home, once filled with uncertainty and fear, now radiated warmth and love. And every evening, as the sun set and painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, Tommy and Max would sit together on the porch, a boy and his dog, bound by a miracle. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring tales of hope and resilience. Have you ever experienced a moment of unexplainable joy or a miracle in your life? Share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Remember, sometimes the smallest prayers lead to the biggest miracles. See you in the next story.